So in the studio, of course, let me talk to two gentlemen. One is Sylvester Otieno, a chief in Ligega. If you come from Ligega, hands up. And of course, my other brother, Elias Omondi. Gentlemen, karibuni sana. Can you say something so people can hear you?
Asante sana. I'm Sylvester Otieno, officer, sub-county. I'm happy to be in Nairobi.
Right. So thank you very much, CEO Charles. It's always a pleasure to be on the drive.
And being on Friday, we believe that hustle is real. And really, I want to just encourage Kenyans that, if you are in chapter 2, yes, it's very difficult to compare yourself with somebody in chapter 12. So I think you make your move slowly, but progress is important. So it's always a pleasure to be there at home of Spice.
The sugar and spice and everything nice. But then, ladies and gentlemen, you know what happened is, there are a couple of books and listeners out there that I think Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan should read. I'm a very big consumer of books, and one of them is Joys of Motherhood. You do not kill people's children. Maybe Buchi Emecheta's book from Nigeria, Joys of Motherhood, would have been good for her to learn on how to treat other people. And then, of course, this Miriam Abba from Senegal, who wrote so long a letter. If you catch that book, it's one of the finest books, which talks about women and leadership. And also, there is Tsitsi Daramubega from Zimbabwe. If you've read her book, Nervous Condition, it's something about African women rising to the top, but there must be leadership and accountability. So maybe Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan should have taken the counsel of these three women across Africa, 2 from West Africa and 1 from Southern Africa, who give the condition of women in Africa and gives it an impetus on how people and leadership should be handled. So maybe the Tanzanians have to do something about it. And also the innocence is gone. We are saying that the innocence is gone. It's not the Chama Cha Mapinduzi of 1990s when 2 musical stars, my friends, Roma and Stamina, sang in Parapanda. It's something new, it's something fresh, it's something where people want to be taken care of with the new constitution, which covers their drive, their responsibility, and articulate the future. So maybe I'll ask these gentlemen who are in studio, what do you think about Tanzanian election?
Right. So I think whenever we talk about election, is about really enabling a country to move forward. It's quite unfortunate that quite worrying trends did happen during this election. Yeah. But importantly, is just to really tell our fellow African citizens in Tanzania that there's always the light at the end of the tunnel, and really to encourage them to stay in peace, but still agitate for their rights, because for a country to really get the economical transformation, there's need for good governance, not only at the national level, but also at the grassroots level. And I believe that whenever we get an opportunity to vote, then the voice of the citizens need to be reflected on the ballot. But again, I believe that Tanzania will always rise and become one of the countries that will kind of also show that African countries can really transform and create the best for their citizens.
I think, Charles, I was so surprised that there's no court in Uganda. There's no Supreme Court in Tanzania. I was so surprised there's no Supreme Court in Tanzania where people can take their
grievances. Yes, because you see, the biggest problem in Tanzania, they are operating a 1962 constitution, which indicates that, and I quote, that in any election dispute, the TBC, Tanzanian Election Board, is the final authority. So, and the constitution is very clear that whenever it's announced, it's final. You cannot have a recourse. And that's a problem. Tanzanians have always agitated for a new constitutionalism, which will capture the aspirations of a nation. So what happened is that the country has not moved forward from the constitution, the what we call the independence constitution. So maybe the Tanzanians have to sit down, and maybe I need to talk to, give a shout out to Maria Serungi, one of the women who've been at the forefront, what Mama Samia calls wanaharakati, and of course Mange Kimambi, fantastic individuals. And of course there's also my two musician friends, Roma and Stamina, who has been singing Parapanda and the rest, and they've been saying Zimbabwe. Roma has been at a thorn in the flesh and telling them what the country needs to move forward. We cannot stop a country from progression. We can only, and actually it's really sad. I was looking at the numbers Samia Suluhu has, and ladies and gentlemen out there, there's no way Mama Samia could have gotten 98% of the vote, because the predecessor, John Pombe Magufuli, got 12.5 million votes in that election. In this election, Mama Samia Suluhu got 31 million votes without opposition. It can't be. In the statistics, and I have a statistician, it's not possible.
Yeah, and Charles, you've just mentioned the power of music in agitating for change. And if you look at the past and what we are seeing in the present, the musicians that you've kind of mentioned can really be at the forefront in enabling the citizens to understand their rights in terms of what they really need to do for their future. So, I believe that if we can continue using music as a tool to agitate for change, then there are greater transformations that we are likely to see in Africa. You've just mentioned some numbers in there. Getting plausibility at up to around 98%, that is quite a big thing, that on a statistical level, getting 98% of an election is quite difficult, because there are people that might not turn up to the polling station. There are sometimes that there are invalid votes and all of that. That could really show that there are some certain issues in this election that did not really go right, and we really need to scrutinize the numbers.
The most interesting thing about the numbers is that, and I love it, because in 1962, when Julius Kambarage Nyerere, the man, the myth, the legend, went for the poll for the first time in Tanzania, he got 98.67%.
Wow.
And because it was what we call, the Africans were yearning for independence, and it's possible that way because it was a new country being born and birthed. But now Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan decides to say that she got 98.530. The difference between the late President Nyerere's vote and Mama Samia Suluhu was 0.33. She almost overtook Nyerere. She almost overtook Nyerere's vote, which is impossible.
Wow. And that basically tells you that sometimes we really need to be serious whenever we want to do some things, because numbers never lie. And in this case, then ultimately on the black and white, then you see that this election was not credible. And we really need to ask ourselves then, how do we ensure that even if we are trying to do certain things, you might really need to ask certain statisticians what would kind of look real, because this is totally incredible and very unfortunate that they had to push these numbers up.
It's and there's a guy who is telling me your name's Emerald Elias. You're saying, "Ayo, tuned in from Ruaka. I'm the only Gen Z here." Ayo, Gen Zs, you're welcome. The only difference is that our music is really uptown, eh? So we'll teach you one or two things. Kwa kona ile utakaa. I know Ruaka mna hizo kona, my friend. Chill. Then there's Victor Odawa, locked from Kasarani, Mwiki 17B. Massive asante sana Victor Odawa for being with us this afternoon. Of course, majirani wamekatazwa communicate na sisi, tunaharibu. Leo majirani na sisi tutaendelea kuongea. Even the Bible says, love your neighbors, you love yourself. And we keep the word of the Lord, and we always honor the word of the Lord. So majirani wa Tanzania, tuko nanyi, sako kwa bako, here and there. We will not let you down. And of course, Emerald Elias, asante sana for the love messages. JJ Henry, I see you. Really, Yan, I see you. Roberto De Niro, I see you. Mr. Victor Dawa, thank you very much for tuning in for Spice FM. And then there's, of course, David Kiari wa Subukia, asante sana, we see you. Karibuni sana, because this is your show. Spice Drive is a show that brings to you all what you want to hear across the globe and beautiful music on the charts. So now, in the studio today, I have two gentlemen, Elias Omondi and of Sly Otieno, so Uma. I don't know which one he wants to use today, but he's a Real Madrid fan. And the Merengues, you know the Merengues, and he's even wearing that T-shirt. The Merengues, or the team from the King of Spain, were beaten by Liverpool. I wonder what happened to Vinicius Jr. and Xabi Alonso, because Liverpool has been losing to everyone apart from Madrid. They were beaten by everyone apart from Madrid, 6 games in a row. But anyway, it's a story for another day. He'll tell us about his team, but also we are going to talk about Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the man, the 4th president of Republic of Kenya. Nowadays seems to be speaking too much. Last week, he was in a funeral and he said that they've been in hospital with a gentleman who used to run a bank, and said that they were suffering from a condition. And we do not want to speculate because health is a very private matter, so we cannot say exactly what he said. But what I know is that Uhuru does not take prisoners with his conversation. And today he took a swipe at people who are abusing each other, and he said, and especially, and I quote, he cautioned people against insults in politics through social media and mainstream media. He was speaking in Murang'a County during the Jubilee Party and urged leaders to choose leaders on their policies. He also took a swipe at DCP leader, the Truthful Man, for pressuring Mount Kenya residents to elect leaders of his preference. And he said people know who they want to elect. Should Uhuru retire early? Early. Should Uhuru retire?
I think for me, politics in Kenya has kind of been going through a huge transformation, whereby whenever there's a vacuum, then that vacuum needs to be filled.
Yes.
And Kenya yearns for leadership, and the former president really has that, I would say, appeal. We saw what was happening at the burial of the former prime minister.
There were cheers for the former president, and that basically indicates that he still has a space to guide this particular country in terms of what really needs to be done. But importantly, I just need to mention that what he has mentioned, we need clean politics that really will not be bended in any direction, and that's important in any social aspects as we are transitioning towards the elections in 2027. So for me, I think the space that is there is what Uhuru is coming in to fill, to kind of offer guidance and direction. And without, if that space was not there, then the former president will not be speaking and trying to indicate the direction that sometimes this particular country should take.
I think you've captured it very correctly, that Uhuru is just filling a void which has been left by people who do not want to understand that the country moved on a long time ago into issue-based politics and not shareholding and other things. But away from Uhuru Kenyatta, there's this gentleman called Sylvester here, whose merengues were beaten by Liverpool, and I know he's very quiet in that statement. He has to say,
actually, I think now the EPA clubs have been playing very well. I think our La Liga teams, our form has gone down a little bit. EPL clubs have been playing very fast football, very classic football. And I think we just have, La Liga teams has to step up a little bit. Because, Liverpool was beaten almost with 2 teams in EPL. All of a sudden now,
by 5, not 2, 4 teams.
4 teams.
Yes.
All of a sudden, it was just, I don't know what happened, but I think we'll just have to wake up and play well. Xavi Alonso has to make some changes in that team. And we have to have a clear style of play. I think we are not playing and I think again we need a true number 9. Real Madrid does not a true number 9. Mbappe and Vinicius Junior, Mbappe and Vinicius Junior are all left wingers. We need a person who can stick at the box, because all of them are playing at the same at the flanks. So we need a real number 9. A real number 9.
It's very unfortunate that you are complaining like some few months ago as Manchester United fans. and it's so surprising that this year, this month of October, Ruben Amorim has won
the player of the year,
the EPL manager of the month,
manager of the month,
and also our Buemo has also won. So Manchester is winning everything. Then Real Madrid is lamenting. Very interesting.
I don't know. We have been playing well in La Liga, winning games each and every game. But then when it comes to playing an English team, then it becomes a problem. Last year we were beaten by Arsenal. This year, no. We are not happy, but we'll just have to step up. Madrid is the biggest team in the world. We are the richest and 15-time European champion. We are the biggest club in the world, and we have to change some things.
You are historically rich. You are historically with the trophies. The game moved. You are still in the past. But also, what is very interesting is that Eli is talking about Ruben Amorim, the man I call him Iberian, who has brought a lot of pressure to many Manchester United fans because of his stubbornness in the playing style. But things are seeming to work eventually for Ruben Amorim and his two musketeers. Of course, I call Mbuemo and Kuna as the people who can drive the team forward. So let's see how it works out. So where will Man United end? They were in view once. Here, the great United view once on Saturday. View once.
Ruben, I think for me, we've given him a chance. He kind of showed that the team can be built around Buemo and Kuna. But there are certain areas that he really needs to strengthen. Particularly on the back left and also the back right. We need to get the right players at that on those two positions. But generally, I think he's shown that he has already started building up something that might not kind of give us the right positions and the right results this year, but maybe in the next 2 or 3 years. We should be able to see the real Manchester United coming back to the bigger equation of English Premier League.
Well, the question to you, Eli, is that tomorrow at 12:30 English time.
Yeah, Tottenham.
Spurs are meeting United. What's your prediction?
Right. Spurs has been a big challenge to Manchester for the last, I think, 4 matches. We haven't really managed to beat them.
Yeah.
This year, I think we have an opportunity to change that bad streak of losses.
Man U 0, Spurs 2.
No. You cannot say that. For me, it will be Manchester 2, Tottenham 1. That's my prediction for tomorrow.
Okay, but this gentleman is saying Man U.
It's very unfortunate. They couldn't go past Liverpool, that Manchester United managed to go past to go over so easily at Anfield, by the way.
But I think the match between Liverpool just shows that we are still down, and we need, in fact, Xavi Alonso should know that team is not playing well. He should look for a way to make that team gel, because we cannot be beaten by a team from Paris the way PSG gave us a beating last year, and again Liverpool gave us a beating. We need just to wake up and play big teams. As per now, the team that is playing well in Europe is Bayern. Bayern is playing too well, and everybody said that, I don't know, Vincent Kompany was just doing, but now he's doing just well. 2 years in Bayern is doing very well. So let's give Alonso time for like 2 years. 2 years, then we'll see how it will work.
But do you think Real Madrid has time for 2 years.
The Merengues don't have time.
They don't have time. And unfortunately, if you look at the style of play from Vinicius Junior to Kylian Mbappe, you cannot see, how they are going to unlock that defense. I watched that match, and I was really, really surprised that they couldn't make any clear chances.
Yes.
All through the game.
I think we still need a midfielder like Modric and Kroos. We still need midfielders. People like this young man called from Turkey. They are still young people. We need a good midfielder who can move the ball and open spaces.
That's why you really need to know Manchester can never let go of Casemiro. We know that once we have Casemiro in the midfield, then our players can do well because we have somebody that can anchor and can dictate the pace of the game.
I think Real Madrid, maybe we can win La Liga this year, but in Champions League we still have a very big way to go. The way we are playing,
but La Liga has only 2 teams. That's yourself and Barcelona.
And Atletico sometimes.
And Atletico sometimes. So
it's a 2-horse race.
It's a 2-horse race.
With a mule in Atletico. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think what's happening is that the Merengues have to redefine their glory and find their boots, and they must shoot correctly because they are shooting wide. And of course, in the Premier League, the competition is very high. So when they come, they are given a reality check on what's happening, because most English Premier Leagues sides play low block or they also attack on the counter. So when they play low block, the Real Madrid fans see that they can't break that team. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to check what you're saying on the social media spaces. And let me start with Jackie, Sonic Adija. You're saying, see you, Charles Otieno and DJ Cham. How are you doing today? Please drive me home with Missy Elliott. Get your freak on. The playlist is on fire. I think that song, Jackie, we played it. Get Your Freak On by Missy Elliott has been played in the first part of the show. And of course, you've seen it. Thank you, DJ Chams, replying from Nyeri 09. Locked in and Santi, that one was played a few minutes ago. So Get Your Freak On has been played. Request for another song, we'll play for you. But Get Your Freak On did. And then there's David Kiarie, Wasubukia, and then there is, of course, Jackie there. Thank you very much for joining Spice Drive this afternoon. Let me see. Hussein Kadi, Ronald Koech, Colin Sodur, and Peter Watuke. Thank you very much for joining Spice Drive. It's a show we always happy to find you, to see you making comments. And then there's Sneve Vanna Buchere, you're saying locked in. And there is also Victor Odawa, I see you. Then there are a couple of other guys here quickly. John Sikuku, Vincent Rono, Frankly, Bruno, J.R. Henry, The Real Ian, and Roberto Niro. Thank you for tuning in SpiceFM Drive, because this is your show and we give you all the best you want to hear. Then there's Mwalimu Charles Luanga, you're saying, from Nyamira County, Kenyerere basement area, well represented. Friday freestyleless. Talk more music ndani na hawa Wendy Wanyaore, Sylvia Nyamora, Lavia Mura, Jackie Kwamboka, Rafael Misuko. Thank you very much, Mwalimu Charles Luanga from Nyamira Kinyerere. And then there's Duncan Ombani Onchiri, Mudavadi Samuel Kenya, Daniel Kepue, and Deros Shams. Thank you for tuning in. Spice FM is your show. We give you only the best you want to hear in this afternoon.